Reading this proposal today, one should be left feeling a little fortunate. Despite the fact that 600,000 Americans have already lost their lives from COVID-19 since the start of the COVID-19 outbreak, we can't, however, stay stuck thinking about what has happened in regards to this pandemic, and instead should be looking forward to reaching goals and steps that can assist us in providing a better tomorrow, not only for Texas State, but also for the rest of our country and the rest of our world. Greetings. Our names are Andre, Andres, Ivan, Marco, and Richard. My name is Richard. In this proposal, we will explore the effects of current and potential solutions to fighting COVID-19 within the Texas State Transportation Department. Our qualifications and for giving these precautions has to do with us being students, just like y'all, and I believe that our experience as students here at Texas State gives us the credibility needed to give these precautions and safety measures to each and every person in the Texas State Transportation Department. We'll take a deeper look at the precautions currently put in place and their effective results over the past year and going forward. The three main areas we will look at and analyze are spatial distancing, improvements in cleanliness, and the possibility of adding bus lanes throughout the city of San Marcos for faster travel. We believe that each of these three precautions are the main areas that we can look to for reopening Texas State transportation system at full capacity as soon as possible. And I hand this over to Andre.
Yeah, so here at Texas State, we have a specific shuttle rider code that we have to follow. Some of those guidelines include rear door boarding, no standing, social distancing, 20 passenger maximums on bus, as well as mandatory masks. A lot of those rules come from being a public transit system. So we follow the FTA, which is the Federal Transit Administration. So as far as the mask guidelines, we won't know until September 13th if they will be lifted or not. But we looked further into the social distancing and the 20 passenger maximum on buses. And we found that the effects of special distancing on COVID transmission are low. According to the Infectious Disease Society of America, sitting in the same row as someone infected with COVID leaves you with a 1.5% chance of contracting the virus. The highest rate of transmission comes from directly sitting across from someone with only a 3.5% transmission. So it's really not that high. Sitting in a previously seated or previously occupied seat by someone that was infected with COVID only leaves you with a 0.075% chance, so less than a 0.1% chance of actually contracting COVID. And the spacing in between seating, so adding a row in between someone that is infected only decreases the chances of contracting COVID by 0.045%. So overall, the effects of spatial distancing are really, really low and don't make sense. But from here, I'll pass it off to Andres with the improvements to cleanliness.
So some improvements in cleanliness of the buses. This will help transmission rates decrease, help Texas State and San Marcos keep away from COVID. There's new methods of in-service cleaning from the FTA, the Federal Transit Administration, which includes also from the Chicago Transit Authority. And that's just implementing those high-touch surfaces on buses, like the guards, handrails, all that. There's also new technology that decreases the likelihood of transmission. Some of the things that we could implement in Texas State's transportation is just individual check-in with those bus drivers and passengers if they're sick. If someone is on the bus and they are sick, You know, close off that area for a while, clean it, and wait for an extended period of time before someone does or someone's allowed to sit back on that seat. And whoever is cleaning it, of course, you know, wear your mask, your gloves. Since we do have those cloth seats, we can't wipe it down like as you see in the picture there. We would, you know, have to vacuum that. And then just when getting on and off buses, it's just to be aware of that space between you and other passengers as you're getting on and they're getting off, or vice versa. The FTA does, they're exploring the use of air filters and purifiers with ventilation and a UV light system. That would also be helpful in like a automated, like, you know, purifier that just sprays. And then these are just daily practices that need to be implemented. And another thing that could be added is hand sanitizer on the bus. We haven't seen that on our buses, but that could be another helpful tool. So that's all I have for cleanliness. I'll be passing it off to Ivan.
Being that we'll have an influx of individuals going to Texas State in the fall, it is important that we note that we'll also have an increase in activities and operations at Texas State. This means that we should make and ensure our transportation department is efficient and effective. Ensuring our transportation department is efficient and effective, we proposed the solution of adding individual bus-only lanes. The advantages that lie with bus-only lanes are a serious efficiency that comes with it, the environmental impacts, and the congestion advantages. In terms of efficiency, timing, and scheduling, it is frequent that buses at Texas State run late, or that they have to stop at multiple stops, and this causes inefficiency in getting students to campus. So moving into the environmental impacts of bus-only lanes, we would ultimately have lower emissions because of less cars and automobiles on the road. Transit.gov states that buses have or emit 1/3 less greenhouse gases and pollutants into the air than single occupancy vehicles. And this is super important because if we make the bus and transportation services really attractive, we'll have more membership on those buses, and in turn will create less traffic and less emissions and therefore pollution. So moving into the decreased traffic and congestion element of single bus lanes is because these buses have uninterrupted flow or full control of access, they don't need to wait on other buses or other cars, or don't have the time constraints that other cars on the road would have. This would increase the efficiency in bringing students to campus at a higher rate, and ultimately could potentially solve our transportation service problem that we have. A few implications that we have to consider with these individual bus lanes is that they are super expensive. In fact, CTPS stated that it's on average over $500,000 to create a single bus lane for 1 mile in one direction. So considering this could turn into around a $20 to $30 million project if we went into it. But considering that, we have to deem the benefits as greater than the consequences. So with that, I will pass it off to Marco.
Thank you, Ivan. So we've shown you the results of the current solutions Texas State has implemented to fight COVID-19 in its transportation department, and included the additional solutions we feel would make major improvements to safety for all our students. Particular current practices set in place, like spatial distancing, have already shown to cause more strain than actual added safety for students. Anyone who has traveled on the Texas State bus can tell you, you need to be pretty lucky to get a seat, and oftentimes you will have to wait for the next bus. So to continue this 20-person max in fall will entail students waiting 2 or 3 trips before actually finding a seat to get to campus. Nonetheless, the new daily cleaning procedures have been a good start at helping the fight against COVID-19. And we believe our proposal for adding bus lanes throughout the city would help trim travel times for buses and allow for more time to sanitize the bus between trips. These changes will in turn drastically change the college experience for future Bobcats attending our university. With our presentation, we hope to inspire change at Texas State University for us and for the rest of our classmates in easing the transition back to normality. Thank you.